كسودانيين ما مهم منو جاي من وين، إحنا محتاجين نحترم بعض وندعم بعض لأنه إحنا واحد. إحنا كلنا بشر كسودانيين جنوبيين بنستحق عشان نعيش بالسلام، نستحمل بعض ونصالح خلافاتنا ونعيش بالسلام. ده رسالة تسامح والتعايش السلمي بيجيك من اي راديو هناك في جنوب السودان.
Welcome to the Sundown show. On this show we bring you the movers and shakers of South Sudan and the world over. We engage in debates and discussions that unearth the stories behind the news. And we have our light moments too by chit-chatting about issues that affect our day-to-day life. Stay right here on the Sundown. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. The Sundown. For the news, views, opinion, debates and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on Radio with me, Madrama James. Today we continue the show with the countdown to that 14th independent anniversary. As South Sudan marks 14 years since gaining independence, we take this moment to reflect on the country's journey, its achievement, and the challenges still ahead and what the future holds. Our guest tonight is Jock Abramthon, founder and director of that Promised Land Primary and Nursery Secondary School in Juba. He also an economist, entrepreneur, and policy analyst. Jock will share with us his thought on the nation building, the role of education and economic development in South Sudan. Recently, he announced a major milestone, the signing of a memorandum of understanding with Ashnaga, USA, an organization that provides scholarship and leadership training to high achieving and vulnerable students. As part of this partnership, Promised Land Secondary School has been selected as a pipeline school for students in South Sudan aiming to study at universities in the United States, United Kingdom, and Japan. I'd like to take this humble time to welcome you, Mr. Jock Abramthon, to the studio of iRadio.
Thank you, James.
All right. To kick start, let's have this reflection. 14 years since gaining independence. Where were you and how would you describe the journey South Sudan has taken so far? So good.
Thank you, James. It's a great pleasure to be here at iRadio. And first of all, before I answer you, let me say Happy Independence.
Same to you, my brother.
I was here in Juba during the independence. I also took part in the organizing of the referendum, also organizing the Independence Day celebration. So I saw the joy, I saw the excitement, I saw the Sudanese flag lower down. I saw the South Sudan flag was raised with our national anthem sung for the first time, and our president signing our constitution. There were a lot of cultural dances, a lot of running around. I still remember that night before the Independence Day, around Isora and Ministries Road. You could just hop into a car, you don't know the owner, and you were just driving with them, shouting independence, and people were really excited.
Going to a unknown destination.
Yes.
All right. From that particular moment, really, in your own opinion, has the promise of that independence has been really realized in our country, more especially to ordinary citizens? Welcome on board.
Thank you so much. You know, the independence of South Sudan means a lot. First of all, as a young person, the first time I felt it was when I had my national ID written Republic of South Sudan. Previously, it was under Sudan. And when I first had my national ID, there was a sense of belonging. Like many South Sudanese, growing up in a refugee camp, and people calling South Sudanese so many names. I remember sometimes they call people Grang, sometimes they call you Ngombe. But when you are home, you know you are home, and that was something to be proud of.
Okay, let's now dive into our real talking point right here. Since that's independent up to now, the 14 years that we are talking about, you made some achievement, be it either personal or at the same time in the nation building. Please, could you take us through?
Yeah, so 14 years down the line, a lot of things have happened, and really to be proud South Sudanese means taking action. And for me, I get myself as one of the founding fathers, as you yourself. We are the first generation of South Sudan, and what I realized is nation building is collective effort, and that's how I came up with the idea of fighting illiteracy. As you know, during the liberation time, people didn't have access to education, and that was also one reason why our liberators took arm to give people of South Sudan dignity and education they deserve.
What really inspired you to come up with, other initiative like Ashinaga?
So the Ashinaga initiative, there are many young South Sudanese here in the country and outside, and most people are not connected to opportunities. We have brilliant young people, hardworking people, but they don't have opportunities. And just to give you an example, we are really proud of South Sudanese like Malwach, who recently signed NBA. And most people like myself, when I was in the US, people could walk to me and say, "You are tall, do you play basketball?" I said, "I don't play basketball because I didn't grow up where there was a basketball court." So you see this, there are young people here that lack opportunity. So Ashinaga is an organization, as you put it before, that was founded to provide education to vulnerable orphans who are high achieving but don't have access to education. So I met the managing director of Ashinaga in Washington, D.C. at a conference. And
when was that?
That was last month. That when I met with her in Washington, and I told them about the school, and she said, "Oh my God, this was the end of conference, and I met you. This was meant to be, because we don't have partners in South Sudan, and we would really love to support the young people of South Sudan. They deserve such kind of opportunities." So that's how we signed the MOU, and this year we are going to begin to select the students and train the students and help them apply to the US and UK and Japan universities for scholarships.
Looking at the recent, twist of event between South Sudan and the US, how practical is this Ashinaga MOU going to work?
So it's a US branch, but Ashinaga is a global organization. So they have partnerships also with the universities in UK and also universities in Japan. So once we have this diplomatic crisis with the United States, we have access to UK and Japan universities as well.
Now, to some other students who would like also to drop in the application, how is it really working? How can someone apply to this particular scholarship?
So how the partnership work? They select a school as a pipeline. That means the students have to be from the Promised Land secondary school in order
only.
Only. for them to be accepted.
And within even Promised Land, how is it really working? Is it what criteria is your school using to make sure that some of these few opportunities are utilized correctly?
So the scholarship is only for high achieving. So it is from number 1 to 10. So this is the best 10 students that will be selected for this program. So the 2 students will automatically qualify for the scholarship under the Ashinaga, but the 8 will be guided on how to apply and also on how to sit for the TOEFL, which is a test of English as a foreign language, for them to get admission to the universities in UK and Japan.
And is it a full-time scholarship, or there's also cost sharing? Because parents would like also to know this.
No, it's a full scholarship. So when a student is accepted, the Ashinaga will pay for the balance. If at all the university needs some balance of the tuition to be paid. So Ashinaga will cover everything. They will give them tickets. They will give them also computers, and they will be the one taking care of the student. It's a full scholarship.
Yeah, before we move on, we have seen some of the students taken from South Sudan, let's say for example in Morocco, in Ethiopia. At the end of the day, you are given a cost which is not of your interest. Now in this particular scholarship of that Ashinaga, is there a kind of dictatorship, like you are supposed to do this, or it's up to the student to decide?
Yeah, so for you to qualify, you have to also be somebody committed. You have to be a devoted leader, and you have to be willing to come back and also help your community. And so Ashinaga is helping in other countries. It's not only here. They have pipeline schools, including even in Tanzania. I met some of the scholars at the conference. They were helping. And these are some of the opportunities that South Sudanese are missing out. We also have like the Mandela Fellowship, which is also like not accepting a student now because of the current diplomatic things. So you have a lot of South Sudanese capable young people who lack access. And I think this is one of the opportunities for them to go and also showcase the smart brain of South Sudan.
All right. Now, Mr. Job, really, if I may ask, what do you get in return in this particular Ashinaga scholarship?
What I get in return is the opportunity for South Sudanese. You know, I've been fighting hard for such kind of opportunities to come to South Sudan, because I have seen how other young people around the world are also trying to make it in life, and our young people here don't have access to such kind of opportunities. So sometimes you have rooms that are not having any South Sudanese. 3 weeks ago, I was in Nairobi attending a conference, it's an African conference, bringing young volunteers across Africa. There were no South Sudanese youth, and those young people who were at the conference were carrying their flags, they were singing, they were united, they were dreaming, but there were no South Sudanese, you know. So what I will get out of this is putting South Sudanese young people on those spaces, because they deserve to be there. They are smart, they are leaders, you know, and they should be there. So that's what I will get in return.
Nelson Mandela once said, education is a powerful weapon to change the world. And you are the founder of and director at the same time of Promised Land, in establishing this school to change the narrative of South Sudan as we are gearing towards the 14th anniversary. What other challenges have you encountered while establishing or running the school? So
you really put it across very well, because education is the only weapon we can change lives. And what really inspired me most, and what really helped me to keep going despite the challenges, the young people that are learning, the young people that are going to school, the parents that are sending their kids to school. There are numerous challenges, as you know. most people, economic crisis affecting parents, also affects schools, oppression. So we have a lot of challenges as we speak, but we take it in because this is our obligation as young people to build a united country that we want through education.
You have gotten the opportunity to stay in the Western world, and you have seen the other side of life. Why did you really decide to come back and establish a school in a country like South Sudan?
So if you look at education in the U.S., it's what transform a country. South Sudan is beautiful. South Sudan is beautiful. People are smart. So there's no really a reason why you cannot come back and support. And actually, I established the school before I went to the U.S. And when I went to the U.S., it gave me more exposure, seeing new things, also giving me hope that South Sudan will be there one day, be a better country one day, because of these young people that are in the school that we are training and molding. So it's home. South Sudan is home. And that's why I came back again. Most people are like saying, why do you come back and all this? I know there are challenges in the country, but South Sudan is home. We need to work together as young people to build the country we want, to build a beautiful country that we want. We need to be innovative to solve the problems we face. So I'm here to be part of the solution in any way, or to continue what I'm doing.
Moving forward, like you said, there are a lot of challenges you are facing while running the school, or that's a promised land. Now, through this school, what are you really trying to address in this current context of South Sudan?
So, Promised Land Secondary School hosts students from all over the country. So, and there was an initiative called Wisdom and Power Initiative that I initiated last year, and the idea was to build a united country as a purpose of establishing a school. And so we practice cultural show. We bring in parents to come and witness what is happening, sharing also their stories as a way to build bridge, intergenerational dialogue. Because if you want to change the mindset of people, you need them to come together and discuss those issues. So at Promised Land Secondary School, we are very creative and we are very intentional in portraying peace building as the message to the young people. And we have what we call a Peace Wings Hall, where we have the activities. So all at Promised Land, everything there is based on a theme. And it's a message that we need to pass to the students and the parents, because as you know, tribalism is one of the factors that is affecting our country. And the best way to fight tribalism is to invest in activities that promote peace, and it begins with students and include their parents.
Well, being the founder and director of That's Our Promised Land, how would you assess the current states of education in South Sudan, especially the primary and that's at the secondary levels?
There are a lot of challenges that are still going on, and I think we are really at a very early stage of founding a nation. So I think that we keep on improving. As you know, even now the results are still not out. And there are people who are already trying to find scholarships, but the results are not out. So there are things that are really not in place, but we keep on hoping and also trying to do our best as schools, as myself, continue to tell the students to be productive when they go home, not to sit idle, to start seeing what to do, be productive citizens. And this is really one good thing about education. Once they leave school, they don't go as people who are not creative. most of our students now even established businesses. So there are businesses that are running that were established by our students, including those who are even going to be teachers. Even at our the neighboring communities, we have our students who are now already transforming life. So we organize a lot of mentorship for our learners as a way not to produce students that complain, people that go and sit and complain about situations. So, but also people that produce young people that are problem solvers, those who look at problem and begin to find a solution to that problem.
Mr. Jock, let's talk about briefly about the results. Some of you, like the directors and founders of your school, you people are paying money, subscription fee, and from January up to this time, we are already in July, and the results are not out. There are some other scholarship that are currently pending, and students cannot apply because of the result issues. Why don't you people approach the Ministry of General Education and have really a healthy conversation with them and saying, this is what we are facing?
Yeah, you're right, and there's a process of union of private schools that is in place. It's a body that will also help share or hear out the voices of the concerns of the schools.
And what is that body doing?
So this body is still in a process, and is a process that will actually be realized soon. But there was already started communication with the ministry to share our concerns and the parents' concern with the ministry. So I think it's a matter of time, and this will be rectified. I just came into the country, so I really don't know more about the conversation with the ministry. But myself, before I left the country, I had such kind of conversations with the ministry.
Now, what are some of the biggest barriers preventing access to that quality education for South Sudanese children today?
According to the statistics, there are about 2.5 million kids who are out of school. They could be in displacement settlement, they could be in cattle camps, or people that are not able to afford fees for their kids to go to school when they live here. So there are a lot of challenges that are facing parents, and as I mentioned, this is a country, and we are at the early stage of founding a nation. So it is a collective effort to continue doing our part as schools. One way we are doing it is to raise awareness. For example, girl child education, which is now improving. So most people now are taking their kids to school. And there was really one testimony when we finished a drama during our school event. One parent came to me and said, Abraham, if this is how important a girl child is, that means I will send my kid to school so that she could get education, and when she graduates, she'll be able to give me some money in a small handbag and say, Daddy, this is your money for tea, instead of being married for cows and all those things. So I think as a schools, we're also helping the government to raise awareness on the importance of education for people that are in areas with access to education. And for those who are really in hard-to-reach areas, to call on the government and partners to help provide access to those people, because once we have educated society, peace will not be our problem, because we will have very productive citizenry.
Being the director of that Promised Land, what do you believe the government and the partners should really prioritize to transform the education system? Because time is also running out. Being 14 is not longer a small country.
Yeah, it's a small country when there are challenges that are facing the country. And peace is now the goal of the government, and also is a goal of everybody, which is really a good thing, because when there's peace, a lot of things can happen. We need to unite our people, and especially the young people. When we stop the conflict, when we stop communal conflict, we can actually do more. The government can do a lot of things. So I think the partners should support peace process, and peace process also could come in with agriculture. Engage the young people. The government should engage the young people in farming. And I don't know more, but there were like tractors or like government initiative to support farmers and all those things so that it can be food secure. I think those could add up, because sometimes when we talk about peace and there's no food, they could not meet, because somebody would want to go and rob somebody to get something to eat. But when they engage, already there will be peace in the country.
Jock Abraham, you came up with a very good initiative of helping the country, but on the other side, parents are also complaining that, private schools are really overcharging the parents, despite, having knowledge on the economic hardship in the country. And good enough, you're also an economist. How would this one be addressed instead of now coming with the solution? You people are adding more burden to parents.
Well, this, private schools are independent entities, and they also have operation budget. They also have teachers' salaries. And this is why you see them progressing. Even the results of private schools students are good than the government schools, because they get their pay and they are taken care of. So I think there are a lot of factors that are involved in fees. For myself, Promised Land has been always considerate of the parents, and is one of the lowest charging school in the country compared to what you may call. And really, the fees in South Sudan are really low compared to Uganda, where people pay like $500 in Uganda and the neighboring countries. So it's reasonable at some extent, but it's really high to parents that are not even getting salaries. So I understand the concern, but we should also not close the schools, because these schools are now the hope they're helping the government to realize the agenda of peace building. But when we close the schools, when we say the schools are expensive or they're charging much, it will really backfire, because kids will not go to school, the number of gangs will increase, so there will be a lot of mess. So supporting private schools or seeing private schools as actors of peace or partners in peace building in the country would really help South Sudan move forward.
Well, that's our financial freedom, or that's independence. How can young people be meaningfully included in driving economic development and innovations? So
you see, like in countries like Kenya, they have created, or countries like Uganda, they have entrepreneurship fund, and this entrepreneurship fund support young people as seed funding. Most of our young South Sudanese have ideas, but they lack capital. So one way they could be engaged through the Ministry of Youth is to establish Youth Entrepreneurship Fund. And this is not really difficult, because our government is able. If you allocate maybe, let's say, $500,000 annually to be supporting young people, this is South Sudan money, and this money will circulate in our economy. One thing really which is killing our economy is there are a lot of sectors that are controlled by foreigners, and this money doesn't stay in our economy. For example, the hotels, or the water tankers, or the fuel companies. This money is transferred to the outside countries, and we remain with nothing. So there's no money circulation in the economy. So if the government want to solve this, is to empower more entrepreneurs in the country to be able to create jobs, and also the money will circulate in the country. And they will also operate with patriotism. For example, you have water tankers doing a strike, and then you don't bed for 3 days. And this is a South Sudan water, but somebody's controlling it. It doesn't make sense. So I think the more we support local entrepreneurs, the more we can even control inflation, and the more we can also control prices in the market, because this will be locally produced, and locally trading will happen. Like you can just have young entrepreneurs from Yambio bringing their fruits to the capital, and yeah, a lot of young people here have ideas. I would really challenge iRadio sometime to go out in the street and ask young people what do they need. I think this is really a good national conversation question.
Now, talking about issues of loan, we have seen some other individuals, once they have the money, instead of investing on it, they end up, going for marriage, very expensive one. And at the end of the day, people will say it's difficult to trust, South Sudanese when it comes to issues to do with loan. What's your take?
There's a difference between what is happening now and a national initiative. If the government was to come up with such a thing, you could come up with a pilot project. Everything is a pilot project. They can have a pilot project of funding maybe 10 businesses, for the first year, and see how those, because when we assume things, we cannot move forward. We would be assuming this will not work, and at the end of the day, we will be the victims. And I would just say we could have a pilot project. Let the Ministry of Youth fund 10 projects across the country and see how those projects are. But countries like Uganda have already established this. They have funding for the young people. And what I was saying about the Kenya, they have vocational training centers, vocational training schools. We have it here, but also the world is changing now to the ICT. So we also need to invest in hubs, in innovation hubs for young people in the country. We can have 10 centers across the country, or we can have, based on our 3 administrative areas and 10 states, and hub in each capital or in each village that will be training young people on computer and artificial intelligence, because these are the conversations the world is having. We should also join the world in the trends of the 21st century.
Someone would say, South Sudanese are very good at talking, but implementation also, it's another challenge. Now, with all these good recommendations you came up with, where do you really recommend someone to start from? Let's say the educators, Ministry of Youth and Sports, and other relevant bodies.
So, when you want to solve a problem, you engage the people. And I think the first thing would be to have a national youth consultation project, or initiative. Engage the young people, or like some of the ministries have a strategic plan, but some of this could happen in a strategic plan. And so I would really recommend the ministries concerned to engage the grassroots people, not just to come out with an initiative that may not work, but engage the young people, not like a national dialogue, but in a very in a strategic way, where you can have a national ministry strategic plan.
Well, what other recommendation would you practically propose or policy to create that reform and boost even our education or the economy? So, I would really recommend supporting local entrepreneurs. You go to Konya now, there are these local women or young people who are doing this rickshaw, or young people who are doing border. These young people who are, or university graduates, we have university students who are really trying to do things that can generate money to support themselves at school. I'm really proud of these young people. So I think the more practical way is to allocate funding. The Ministry of Youth should lobby for funding, should write a national project to bring this as an initiative,
and through the economic cluster discuss this to fund it. Because when we talk about peace, without engaging young people in activities, it will not work. For example, there are a lot of, the government has done a lot of disarmament, but you find guns go back to the young people. That means there was no alternative disarmament done. But when you take arms and you give them livelihood, you give them new ways of life, you engage them either in agriculture or you engage them in entrepreneurship, or you engage them in national projects like when they were constructing roads. So all those things will change the lives of the young people, will change their ways of life, and they will not go back to their previous ways of life.
All right. Dear listener, if in case you have just joined us, you are most welcome, and you are listening to the Sundown Show on Radio with me, Madrama James. As South Sudan marks 14 years since gaining independence, we take this moment to reflect on the country's journey, its achievement, the challenges still ahead, and what the future holds. I'm blessed to be joined by Jock Abraham Thorne, founder and director of Promised Land Primary and Secondary School. And thank you so much for those who have taken their humble time to wish for us a happy independence in advance. And keep those messages coming right here. We are first heading out for commercial break, and when we come back, we shall be picking your live calls on that 0911-022-986 and 986. And do not also hesitate to send for us your question. That's via our Facebook page. That's iRadio. And we have a couple of your messages right here. Benedito Juma, he's watching us live from Nimule, Eastern Equatoria State. Francis John Andriano is watching us from Wow. Thank you so much for the privilege of your company, Andriano. Then we have Quell. Thank you also for sending that thumped. Mangar, thank you as well. For wishing us that's a happy Independence Day. Then Matong is saying happy Independence Day in advance. And we have Obvious Gang is saying happy Independence South Sudan. Thank you. Keep those messages coming. Let's now head for that's our first commercial break. And when we come back, we'll continue with the conversation.
The Ministry of Health is conducting a commemoration of African Vaccination Week with a new vaccine introduction of pneumonia vaccine, targeting all children aged between 6 to 14 weeks. Take your child to the nearest vaccination center during the African Vaccination Week or Big Catch-up campaign.
Good morning, Mama Alice.
Good morning, Mama Ladu. Where are you coming from this morning?
I had taken Ladu for pneumonia vaccination at the health center to protect my child against pneumonia and meningitis. He was also vaccinated with other routine immunization vaccines at no cost. Is baby Alice already vaccinated?
Yes, she was vaccinated last month. Does she need to be vaccinated again?
Yes, she needs to be vaccinated with at least 3 doses at 6, 10, and 14 weeks to be fully vaccinated, immunized, and protected against pneumonia.
Really? I just heard from afar that there will be a vaccination campaign during the African Vaccination Week, but I was not keen enough to get the details.
You know, pneumonia vaccine is effective in preventing pneumonia and deaths in infants and young children. This vaccine has just been introduced this year, 2025. A lot of children were not vaccinated. Some even travel without being vaccinated. I wouldn't want to see any child get pneumonia.
I didn't know that pneumonia is very serious, that it can cause meningitis and even death.
Yes, pneumonia is a life-threatening disease caused by bacteria or viruses. The signs are cough, fever, chills, and shortness of breath, which may be accompanied by chest pain when breathing or coughing. Children who survive may experience long-term effects on lung function and increased risk of respiratory conditions like asthma.
Asthma or lung function complication? Oh, that sounds scary. How can I protect my child from this dangerous disease?
The only way for your child to be safe is when your child and all children in your neighborhood are vaccinated with pneumonia vaccine.
I will do that immediately. Where can I take my child for this vaccine? Hope it is not late.
No, you are not late. Pneumonia vaccine and all the other routine vaccines are available at all government health centers in your areas. Tell your neighbors with children between 6 to 14 weeks to be vaccinated.
I'm glad you told me. I will take my child immediately to the nearest health center for pneumonia vaccination.
Bring your child to the nearest health center and protect them from pneumonia and other vaccine-preventable diseases. This message is brought to you by the National Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and South Sudan Women in Medicine.
You are right where you deserve to be. Your eye on South Sudan.
Indeed, you are right where you deserve to be. It's time for you now to pick that cell phone and dial that's our studio line on 0911-022-986 and 986 and ask that good question. First caller, I read you. Madrama James here. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay.
You are connected to Simple Man in Jebel Amianin.
Simple Man from Jebel Amianin. Good to have you.
Thank you. I want to bring my friend in the studio. That is my brother indeed, Jacob Bishop. Yeah, my greeting is going to him and happy Independence to you.
Same to you.
You may not know my name. My real name is Makurma Gomati. I think I can remember.
Makurma Gok.
Yeah, Makurma Gok. Yeah, we played with him together long time ago, and we know each other.
Good.
So yeah, I want to clarify one thing that he has left from his scholarship that I read last month. He has posted on his Facebook page. There are two conditions that scholarship gives that I want him to explain it to us very well.
One is
that the student must have lost two parents so that they can get the scholarship, and a student must be at top 5 all over South Sudan. So can you explain to me how are you going to achieve that scholarship to sponsor more students from the school if you have that two conditions? Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to make that thing clear for me.
Thank you so much, Simple Man. Simple Man, you heard it from him. Briefly, throw more lights on the two conditions you mentioned. At least, a student must lost, his two parents. What do you mean exactly there?
Thank you, Makur. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the good question, and good to hear your voice as well. So this scholarship opportunity was established by Yam. She's called Tamai. Tamai is a Japanese. He was an orphan, so he want to pay back to the orphans. So you want to help orphans. So the condition is you have to be an orphan. That is the criteria. Either you have lost your dad or you have lost your mom. It has to be, you have to be an orphan. That's one. The second is to be best or high achieving learner. So you have to be best performing students, even if not at the level of South Sudan, but also best performing student in the top 10 at Promised Land results.
Only Promised Land.
Only Promised Land.
All right. Let's hear from this radio.
Good evening, Madrama James.
Good evening.
This is Wilson Mayer here in Juba.
Welcome, Willie.
Thank you very much. I would want to actually greet my brother in the studio and happy Independence Day in advance to him. He's really somebody who is actually trying to participate in the national building of this country. So my question goes like this. Let's talk about patriotism. And as a student right activist, I've received a report on his school that some teachers are leaving and is not paying benefits or pensions. How does that work in this issue of patriotism he has talked about? Because as a teacher, you have right of pension when you have finished your contract, and it's not doing that. And the other private school also are not doing that. How does it work with in this issue of patriotism? Number two, some private schools are demanded a lot of fees from the parents and paying teachers less in terms of salaries. How did such a thing happen in private school? The last point is some brothers from East African community, they are teaching in private schools and they did not actually take work permit from the Ministry of Labor. Summarize those issues because those issues fall under patriotism we have talked about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, William. And he is one of the teachers' activists. You heard a lot from him, so over to you.
Thank you so much, William, for your questions. And I think I will just answer this question individually because I don't know the rest of the other schools. And they might have different policies. So for us, we don't have an issue with our teachers in regards to like paying benefits for those who have left. Maybe if you have any of those, I don't know where you got the report because there's no any national report on teachers' benefits across South Sudan that I've read. So I have my own way of doing it. Individual as a school, but I don't know the rest of the schools how they are doing it. So if there are schools that are not supporting their teachers, I don't know about that. So for us,
briefly, are you telling us no one has left your school, or anyone who have left your school got his or her,
yes,
token of appreciation?
Exactly.
Which one is which?
They have got what they deserve.
Okay. To the second question now, high pay.
Yeah, the pay we are paying good. I don't know other schools. We pay
now in
dollars.
The private schools are overcharging. That's the parents. That's William's concern.
Yeah, some are charging highly. I don't know their pay because most schools keep it private, so I don't know how they pay. But for us, we pay the best. Our teachers are not complaining, and we do it because we want to maintain our teachers. And I think we are the best school in the country that have good teachers as well. So. Yeah.
Last one is you have some foreign that's teachers, and ideally they are supposed to have a working permit, and that is not happening according to William, and it falls also under patriotism. Why would you get a foreigner without a work permit and get some good money from South Sudan?
We have South Sudanese teachers as we speak. So if he has schools that are not having work permit for their teachers, I think that is he need to talk to them directly, since he sounds to have more information. So, but for me, we have South Sudanese teachers who are teaching currently. We are actually campaigning for this empowerment of the young people in South Sudan, as I've been talking about. So there are more young people who started education that need to be teaching, and currently we have about 25 teachers for the secondary school that are South Sudanese, including the primary school.
All right.
Yeah.
Via that's our Facebook page, we have a couple of your messages right here. Joseph Mobrug is saying, Happy Independence Day, please. My favorite country. Much love from that's Kenya. And Akot Bak is saying he's watching us from that's Kampala, and Happy Independence Day in advance, my people. Tito Santo Akok is watching us from that's Wow, and is wishing us a happy 14th independent anniversary. And thank you so much for that. With this, we are almost coming to the end of our conversation. So over to you again, Mr. Jock Abraham. First, what would be your independent message, as we are also clocking to that's 14 years of that's independent anniversary right here?
So I would urge the young people of South Sudan to take the leadership of peace building in the country. we, the young people, hold the key to peace. Because when we all talk peace, we can bring peace in South Sudan. We also need to support each other as young people, encourage each other, and inspire each other as young people of South Sudan. So as we celebrate our 14th anniversary, this independence was a hard-earned independence. Our elders, our leaders, our parents fought for this independence. And each generation has an obligation. So nation building is our obligation as young people. So let's be actors of peace. Let's drop the guns, let's drop the pangas, and let's build our country together. Let's inspire each other, and let's love each other across our country.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Jock Abraham Thorne, for coming up to here. Dear listener, we have come to the end of our conversation, and we have been taking a look at the country's journey, the achievement, challenges ahead, and what the future also holds as we count down to that 14th independent anniversary. I've been your host, Madrama James. Thank you for taking that humble time to write to us via our Facebook page and as well by calling. And those who are still calling because of time, I really apologize. And next time, inshallah, better. And thank you so much once again for the privilege of your company.
شكرا لكم مستمعين الكرام لصغة بتاعكم الكبير في آي راديو من حيث الأخبار والمعلومات. صغة بتاعك في آي راديو ذات من صغة الصحفيين عشان يلتزموا بنشر أخبار وبرامج الموزونة، ذات مصداقية للإعلام والتصغيف والترفيه. نتيجة للكلام ده وصل عدد متابعين آي راديو لأكثر من 17 مليون نفر في فيسبوك حسب مقاييس فيسبوك في السنوات الثلاث الفات، عدد أكبر من عدد سكان جنوب السودان. وللحصول على تحليل إخباري مفصل قم بزيارة موقع آي راديو الإلكتروني www.iradio.org. اشترك أو اعمل إعجاب بقناة آي راديو على يوتيوب عشان تحصل لأحدث مقاطع فيديو الجديدة عندنا. آي راديو أين تكون في جنوب السودان.
Itapasma le radio الحقيقة I radio أين تكون في جنوب السودان.
Real people, real stories, real music, real radio. This is iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
لكم مستمعين الكرام لصغة بتاعكم الكبير في آي راديو من حيث الأخبار والمعلومات. صغة بتاعك في آي راديو